Every morning, before the world begins to speak to you, there is a quiet moment that belongs only to you. It is a moment so small that most people overlook it, yet it is more powerful than any opportunity they will chase throughout the rest of the day. Before you touch your phone, before you remember yesterday's problems, before you begin calculating what might go wrong, your mind is open. In that brief space between sleep and full awareness, you are planting the seeds of the day that is about to unfold. Most people unknowingly fill that fertile ground with fear, uncertainty, and old memories. They wake up expecting traffic, expecting delays, expecting rejection, expecting stress, expecting nothing special. They assume the day will simply happen to them. Then they wonder why every day seems to repeat itself. But there is another way to live. There is another way to greet the morning. The day does not have to control you. It can respond to you. Life can begin to mirror the quiet assumptions you make before the sun has fully risen. The morning is not just the beginning of another 24 hours. It is the beginning of another version of yourself. The greatest secret is not hidden in complicated techniques or endless routines. It is hidden inside a simple realization. What you consistently assume to be true becomes the atmosphere in which your entire day unfolds. Your assumptions are silent commands. They are not shouted into the universe. They are whispered within your own consciousness. Yet those whispers become experiences. Long before an event reaches your physical eyes, it has already taken shape within your inner world. Every smile you receive, every unexpected opportunity, every peaceful conversation, every consolation that appears at just the right moment often begins as an unseen assumption held by someone who dared to believe before there was evidence. The world is always responding to the picture you continue to entertain of yourself. Imagine opening your eyes tomorrow morning and refusing to negotiate with yesterday. Yesterday may have contained disappointment, mistakes, delays, or heartbreak. But why should yesterday be allowed to write today's story? The moment you wake up, you possess the incredible ability to declare a new identity. You can decide that today is different. Not because you have proof, not because every circumstance has changed overnight, but because you have changed the story you are willing to accept. The moment your inner conversation changes, your relationship with the entire day begins to transform. Your outer world is always catching up with your inner agreement. Most people wait for evidence before they believe. The wise learn to believe before evidence appears. Suppose the very first thought that greeted you each morning was, "Everything is already working in my favor." Imagine refusing to argue with that statement. Imagine not asking how. Imagine not demanding proof. Imagine simply allowing that assumption to become the emotional atmosphere in which you begin your day. You would notice yourself walking differently. You would notice yourself speaking with more calmness. Your decisions would no longer come from desperation. Instead of searching for signs that something is wrong, your attention would naturally begin discovering reasons to smile. Opportunities that once escaped your awareness would suddenly appear obvious. Conversations would unfold differently because your energy would already expect harmony instead of conflict. The remarkable thing is that the world often responds to expectation long before it responds to effort. Many people unknowingly spend every morning rehearsing disaster. They wake up and immediately remember unpaid bills. They remember difficult people. They replay painful conversations. They predict failure before breakfast. Then they spend the rest of the day proving themselves right. They call it realism, but it is simply repetition. They believe they are observing reality when they are actually recreating yesterday's assumptions. The mind loves familiarity, even when familiarity is painful. That is why transformation always begins with a conscious interruption. You must become willing to think thoughts that your old identity would reject. You must become willing to feel peace before circumstances justify it. You must become willing to expect blessings before they are visible. There is something extraordinary about beginning the morning with gratitude for events that have not happened yet. Most people are thankful only after receiving what they desire. But there is a deeper level of gratitude. It is the gratitude that says, "Thank you because I know today contains wonderful surprises. Thank you because everything I need is already finding its way to me. Thank you because every challenge today will become a stepping stone towards something greater." This gratitude is not pretending. It is not denying present circumstances. It is choosing to trust the invisible movement of life before it becomes visible. Such gratitude changes the one who feels it, and in changing the individual, it changes the experiences they naturally attract. The morning is the perfect time to remember who you truly are, instead of remembering who life told you to be. Society teaches people to define themselves by past failures, financial status, relationship history, or temporary circumstances. But none of those things represent the deepest truth about you. They are only passing chapters. Every sunrise offers permission to begin another chapter. The person you become today is not imprisoned by the person you were yesterday, unless you insist on carrying yesterday into today. Identity is far more flexible than most people imagine. Every assumption repeated with feeling gradually becomes accepted as reality. That means you are never as stuck as you think you are. You are only one deeply accepted assumption away from beginning an entirely different life. As you prepare for your day, picture yourself moving through every situation with confidence. See yourself smiling naturally. Imagine every conversation flowing with ease. Feel yourself receiving unexpected kindness from strangers. Assume that people enjoy helping you. Assume that solutions appear faster than problems. Assume that your ideas are valuable. Assume that your work creates positive results. These assumptions may seem small, yet they quietly influence every decision you make throughout the day. Confidence invites opportunities that fear never notices. Peace allows wisdom to emerge where anxiety creates confusion. Joy attracts experiences that match its own vibration. The quality of your assumptions determines the quality of your perception, and perception shapes the reality you experience. There is no need to force the day into obedience through stress or endless struggle. The day responds most beautifully to quiet certainty. Think about the sun. It never rushes. It never worries whether it will rise. It simply fulfills its nature. You can move through your day with that same confidence. Instead of constantly asking whether everything will work out, begin from the assumption that it already is working out. Let every action become an expression of that confidence. Send emails believing positive responses are already on their way. Walk into meetings expecting cooperation. Make phone calls expecting good news. Enter every room carrying the silent belief that something wonderful can happen here. These are not empty positive thoughts. They are deliberate assumptions that reshape your experience from within. There will be moments when appearances attempt to challenge your new assumptions. A delay may occur. Someone may speak negatively. A plan may not unfold exactly as expected. In those moments, remember that appearances are temporary. They are echoes of old assumptions, not evidence that your new direction has failed. Most people abandon their new beliefs the moment reality appears unchanged. They dig up the seed every hour to see whether it has grown. But growth requires trust. The gardener waters the soil without demanding immediate fruit. Likewise, continue watering your assumptions with calm confidence. Refuse to let temporary appearances convince you that nothing is changing. Often the greatest transformations are occurring beneath the surface long before they become visible. Your morning assumptions become the invisible script from which your subconscious mind performs throughout the day. If the script says life is difficult, your mind unconsciously searches for difficulty. If the script says people disappoint you, your attention becomes highly skilled at noticing disappointment. But if the script declares that life supports you, that unexpected blessings find you, that everything unfolds for your highest good, your awareness begins filtering reality through an entirely different lens. Suddenly you notice open doors instead of closed ones. You recognize possibilities instead of obstacles. You begin living in a world that was always available, but remained hidden behind yesterday's expectations. Perhaps the most powerful assumption you can make every morning is this: I am already the person I desire to become. Feel the peace of that statement. Do not postpone your confidence until after success arrives. Do not postpone your joy until circumstances improve. Become internally what you wish to experience externally. When you assume the identity of someone who is already successful, already loved, already worthy, already peaceful, your actions naturally begin reflecting that identity. The world eventually mirrors what has become natural within you. There is no need to chase what already belongs to the person you have chosen to become. Continue walking as though your future has already reached into the present, quietly arranging every detail in your favor, one beautiful morning at a time. The moment you stop treating your mornings as ordinary, your days stop becoming ordinary. Most people think their future is decided by major decisions made once or twice in a lifetime. But your future is actually shaped by the invisible decisions you make within the first few minutes after opening your eyes. Those moments carry extraordinary creative power because they determine the emotional direction of everything that follows. If you rise with hesitation, uncertainty begins leading your choices. If you rise with expectation, opportunities begin revealing themselves. Every morning you are quietly voting for the kind of life you are about to experience. You are either casting another vote for the version of yourself that has always struggled, or you are casting a vote for the version of yourself who already knows that life is moving in perfect harmony. Your assumptions become your daily vote, and eventually those votes create the reality you call your life. Never underestimate the influence of your first inner conversation. Before you speak to another person, you have already been speaking to yourself. That conversation is setting the emotional climate of your day. If your first words within are filled with doubt, the entire day begins carrying the weight of those doubts. But if your first words are filled with quiet confidence, your mind begins organizing every experience around that confidence. Instead of saying, I hope today is good, gently declare, today is unfolding perfectly for me. Instead of wondering whether people will appreciate you, assume that your presence naturally brings value wherever you go. Instead of expecting problems, expect guidance. Instead of preparing yourself for disappointment, prepare yourself to receive unexpected joy. These are not merely encouraging statements. They are instructions you are giving your deeper mind, and your deeper mind never argues with the assumptions you consistently impress upon it. Many people unknowingly carry invisible burdens into every sunrise. They wake up remembering who offended them yesterday. They replay embarrassing moments. They relive financial worries. They imagine conversations that have not happened yet and fill them with conflict before anyone has spoken a single word. Then they wonder why they feel exhausted before the day has even begun. The mind cannot distinguish between an event that is physically happening and one that is vividly imagined with emotion. Every fearful scene rehearsed in the imagination leaves an impression. Every peaceful scene imagined with conviction leaves an impression as well. Since your imagination is already creating your experience, why allow it to become a workshop for fear when it can become a sanctuary of possibility? Imagine beginning every morning by seeing yourself already standing at the end of a successful day. Feel the satisfaction of completing everything that truly mattered. Feel the relief of knowing every challenge was resolved with wisdom. Hear yourself saying, "Everything worked out even better than I expected." Allow yourself to experience that fulfillment before stepping out of bed. Notice how different your energy becomes. You no longer walk into the day wondering whether you will survive it. You walk into it remembering a victory that already feels complete within you. Your outer world begins to align itself with the emotional destination you have already accepted internally. The beautiful truth is that life is always reflecting identity more than effort. Two people can perform the exact same task, yet receive completely different results, because one believes they are worthy of success, while the other secretly believes they are destined to struggle. The actions may appear identical, but the assumptions beneath those actions create entirely different experiences. One person walks into a room expecting acceptance. The other walks into the same room expecting rejection. One naturally smiles, speaks freely, and notices friendly faces. The other hesitates, overthinks every word, and unconsciously searches for signs of criticism. The room has not changed. The people have not changed. Only the assumption has changed, and with it, the entire experience changes as well. Your assumptions are like invisible lenses placed over your awareness. They determine what you notice and what you overlook. If you assume abundance surrounds you, your attention begins recognizing possibilities that were always there. You notice new ideas, unexpected opportunities, generous people, and creative solutions. If you assume scarcity, your attention becomes consumed by limitations. You begin seeing only what is missing. You focus on closed doors, while ignoring the ones that have quietly opened. Life faithfully reflects whichever lens you consistently choose to wear. There is remarkable peace in refusing to fight every appearance. The world often seems loud, unpredictable, and demanding. News reports compete for your attention. Opinions surround you. Circumstances attempt to convince you that fear is wisdom and worry is responsibility. Yet your greatest strength is not found in reacting to every appearance. It is found in remaining loyal to the assumptions you have consciously chosen. Calmness is not weakness. Calmness is evidence that your confidence is no longer dependent upon temporary conditions. When you know within yourself that everything is unfolding in your favor, you no longer need every moment to look perfect. You understand that today's delay may become tomorrow's opportunity. Today's closed door may quietly redirect you towards something far greater. And today's unanswered question may already contain tomorrow's greatest blessing. One empowering assumption to carry every morning is that every person you meet is capable of bringing something valuable into your life. Instead of assuming conflict, assume cooperation. Instead of expecting criticism, expect kindness. This changes your posture, your tone of voice, your facial expressions, and even the words you choose. People often respond not only to what you say, but to the emotional atmosphere you carry. When your assumption is peaceful, you naturally create peace around you. When your expectation is appreciation, others often begin appreciating you without fully understanding why. The energy you consistently embody quietly invites matching experiences into your reality. Do not become discouraged if your old thinking occasionally tries to return. The mind naturally revisits familiar pathways because repetition has strengthened them over many years. If an anxious thought appears one morning, simply observe it without accepting it as truth. You are not required to argue with every negative thought, You are not required to fight every fearful image. Simply choose another assumption. Gently return your attention to what you have decided to believe. Every time you do this, you weaken the old pattern and strengthen the new one. Transformation is rarely the result of one dramatic moment. It is usually the result of many quiet mornings where you consistently choose faith over fear, possibility over limitation, and confidence over doubt. There is tremendous power in expecting miracles without becoming attached to how they arrive. The mind often wants to control every detail. It wants to know the exact path, the exact timing, and the exact method through which every desire will appear. But life possesses countless pathways beyond the imagination of the logical mind. Your responsibility is not to force the outcome. Your responsibility is to remain faithful to the assumption that the outcome already belongs to you. Allow life the freedom to surprise you. Some of the greatest blessings arrive through doors you never would have chosen yourself. What appears to be an inconvenience may actually be perfect redirection. What appears to be a delay may actually be divine preparation. Every morning, assume that unseen forces are arranging circumstances more intelligently than your conscious mind ever could. As you move through your day, protect the feeling you established in the morning. Imagine carrying it like a quiet light within you. Conversations may attempt to disturb it. Unexpected situations may test it. Other people's fears may invite you into their emotional storms. But remember that your inner state is your greatest treasure. Guard it carefully. You do not need to absorb every negative opinion. You do not need to react to every unpleasant circumstance. Return again and again to the assumption you accepted at sunrise, that today is serving your highest good, that every event is cooperating with your success, that every experience is moving you closer to the life you have already accepted within yourself. The more faithfully you return to that inner knowing, the more naturally the outer world begins reflecting its quiet certainty, and little by little, what once seemed impossible starts feeling completely natural, as whole life itself has always been waiting for you to awaken each morning and finally decide who you truly are before the world has the chance to tell you otherwise. There is a version of you that already wakes up with complete certainty instead of hesitation. That version does not spend the first moments of the morning wondering what might go wrong. That version expects favor before evidence appears. It expects peace before the first conversation. It expects abundance before checking the bank account. It expects love before receiving a message. It expects success before beginning the first task. The difference between the life you are living and the life you desire is often nothing more than the difference between the assumptions you continue to entertain. Every assumption is an invitation. You are constantly inviting experiences into your life through what you quietly accept as true. The invitation may not be visible, but its results eventually become impossible to ignore. Think about how naturally children imagine wonderful things. They expect surprises. They expect exciting moments. They believe extraordinary things can happen because they have not yet trained themselves to worship limitation. Somewhere along the way, many people replace expectation with caution. They begin assuming that disappointment is wisdom. They believe protecting themselves from hope will somehow protect them from pain. But all they really accomplish is closing themselves off from possibilities that were patiently waiting for an invitation. Every morning gives you permission to recover that childlike certainty, not childish ignorance, but fearless expectation. There is strength in believing that today can become one of the greatest days of your life, even when it begins like every other morning. Imagine stepping outside your home carrying the quiet conviction that every person you meet is somehow contributing to your success. You stop seeing strangers as obstacles and begin seeing them as part of an unfolding plan. The cashier's smile brightens your mood. A random conversation gives you an idea. A delayed appointment introduces you to someone who changes your future. A missed opportunity leads you towards something far greater. When your assumption changes, your interpretation changes. Events that once appeared meaningless begin revealing hidden purpose. Life has always been speaking to you, but your assumptions determine whether you hear fear or guidance. The remarkable thing about consciousness is that it does not wait until the end of the day to begin producing results. The moment you accept a new assumption with genuine feeling, something begins changing within you immediately. Your posture shifts. Your breathing becomes calmer. Your decisions become wiser. Your words become more confident. You smile more naturally. Even before circumstances change, you have already begun changing, and that inner transformation quietly influences everything you touch. People sense confidence that cannot be explained. Opportunities seem drawn toward those who already expect them. Doors often open because someone walked toward them believing they would. Most people spend years trying to change their environment without realizing that their environment is faithfully echoing their inner atmosphere. They rearrange circumstances while leaving their assumptions untouched. They change jobs, relationships, cities, routines, and goals, only to discover that familiar frustrations somehow follow them wherever they go. Why? Because the invisible blueprint remained unchanged. If you carry the assumption that life is difficult, you unconsciously recreate difficulty in every environment. If you carry the assumption that you are overlooked, you continue finding situations that appear to confirm it. But the moment the blueprint changes, the structure built upon it begins changing as well. Every morning is another opportunity to redraw that invisible blueprint before the day begins, constructing experiences around it. Do not worry about making your assumptions perfect. Simply make them consistent. Great change is not produced by one extraordinary morning filled with excitement. It is produced by ordinary mornings where you quietly return to the same empowering truths until they become more familiar than your old fears. At first, your new assumptions may feel unfamiliar because they contradict years of habitual thinking. Continue anyway. The unfamiliar eventually becomes natural through repetition. The same mind that once automatically expected problems can learn to automatically expect solutions. The same heart that once prepared for rejection can learn to rest in acceptance. The same imagination that once rehearsed failure can become the birthplace of remarkable victories. One of the most liberating assumptions you can adopt is that everything you truly need is already moving toward you. This frees you from the exhausting habit of chasing life with desperation. Desperation sends the message that what you seek is distant. Quiet certainty assumes that what belongs to you cannot permanently miss you. Imagine beginning every morning with the feeling that your opportunities are already scheduled to meet you. Your blessings are already finding their way through circumstances you cannot yet see. The right conversations are already being arranged. The right ideas are already forming. The right people are already thinking about you. This assumption replaces anxiety with peaceful anticipation. You stop forcing life and begin cooperating with it. There is also tremendous power in assuming that you are deeply supported, even when no visible evidence appears. Many people believe they must carry every burden alone. They wake each morning already feeling the weight of responsibilities they have not yet faced. Their shoulders become heavy before the day has even begun, because they assume everything depends entirely upon their own limited strength. But imagine beginning your morning with the quiet certainty that you are never walking alone. Assume that wisdom is available whenever you need it. Assume that strength rises exactly when required. Assume that unexpected help appears at precisely the right moment. Suddenly the future no longer feels intimidating. because you are no longer imagining yourself facing it alone. As the hours pass, continue returning to your morning assumptions whenever your attention begins drifting toward fear. You may receive unexpected news. Plans may change. Someone may disappoint you. Yet none of these moments possess the authority to define your day unless you surrender your inner agreement to them. You are always free to remember what you decided when the morning began. Everything is working in my favor. I am guided. I am protected. I am supported. Today is unfolding beautifully. These quiet reminders are not attempts to escape reality. They are choices about which reality you are willing to nourish within yourself. Many people ask why certain days seem filled with remarkable coincidences. They speak of lucky breaks, fortunate meetings, or perfect timing. Yet what appears as coincidence often begins with expectation. A mind trained to expect good naturally recognizes opportunities that another mind overlooks. The opportunity may have existed for both individuals, but only one was emotionally prepared to receive it. Expectation sharpens awareness. Faith opens perception. Assumption directs attention. This is why two people can walk through the same day and experience entirely different worlds. One notices endless reasons for gratitude. The other notices endless reasons for complaint. Life reflects back the atmosphere each person consistently carries. Do not underestimate the influence of a peaceful heart. In a world that glorifies constant urgency, peace becomes a creative force. A peaceful mind hears ideas that panic cannot hear. A peaceful heart recognizes doors that fear walks past. A peaceful spirit remains steady while others become overwhelmed by appearances. Every morning, allow yourself to become rooted in stillness before entering activity. Let your confidence come from within instead of from changing circumstances. There is incredible strength in becoming emotionally established before the demands of the day begin speaking to you. Instead of allowing the world to decide how you will feel, decide first, and then let your chosen feeling influence the world you experience. The day is always waiting for instructions from the consciousness that enters it. Most people unknowingly hand those instructions over to habit, memory, and fear, but you can choose differently. Before answering a single message, before listening to opinions, before reacting to circumstances, quietly establish the reality you wish to experience. See yourself already living from the end of a beautiful day. Feel the gratitude of fulfilled desires. Hear the relief of successful outcomes. Rest in the certainty that what you have accepted inwardly is already beginning its journey into visible expression. Then rise from your bed, carrying that invisible certainty like a priceless treasure, allowing every step, every conversation, every decision, and every moment to be influenced by the unwavering assumption that life is joyfully responding to the person you have consciously chosen to become, even though the evidence is still unfolding, one beautiful moment at a time. As you reach the end of this message, remember this one truth above all else. Tomorrow morning does not have to begin the way every other morning has begun. The greatest change in your life will not start when the world changes. It will start when your assumptions change. Before the sun rises, before anyone speaks your name, before a single circumstance asks for your attention, you will have a choice. You can wake up and repeat yesterday, or you can wake up and create a completely different tomorrow. That choice belongs to no one else. It has always belonged to you. From this day forward, refuse to begin your mornings with fear. Refuse to let old memories become tomorrow's expectations. Refuse to allow temporary appearances to define what is possible for your life. Instead, rise each morning with quiet certainty. Assume that today is filled with favor. Assume that every challenge already contains its solution. Assume that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances are already moving toward you. Most importantly, assume that you are already becoming the person you have always dreamed of being. When you hold that assumption with unwavering faith, your thoughts begin to change, your emotions begin to change, your actions begin to change, and eventually your entire world begins to reflect the transformation that first took place within you. Never forget that the world responds to the identity you consistently accept. If you believe you are defeated, life will continue presenting reasons to feel defeated. But if you accept with complete conviction that you are worthy, capable, blessed, and destined for extraordinary things, then every new day becomes another opportunity for that inner truth to reveal itself in visible ways. You are not waiting for life to choose you. Life has been waiting for you to choose yourself. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, before you listen to the voices of the world, close your eyes for just a moment and make one powerful decision. Declare within yourself, today is already working in my favor. Everything I desire is already finding its way to me. I walk in peace. I walk in confidence. I walk in certainty. Then get up and live as though those words are already true. Protect that feeling throughout the day, because the feeling you refuse to abandon becomes the reality you cannot avoid. One morning will become two. 2 mornings will become a week. A week will become a month. Before long, you will look back and realize that the life you once prayed for did not arrive by accident. It arrived because you changed the assumptions that shaped your days. The future you desire is not waiting somewhere far away. It begins with the very next morning, the very next thought, and the very next assumption you choose to believe. And when that morning comes, don't ask whether this day will obey you. Decide that it already does, and step into your day with absolute confidence, knowing that the life you have imagined is no longer just a possibility. It has already begun.